Hey everybody, Matty here with Altcoin Buzz. Happy Tuesday. Bitcoin and the crypto market are doing very well today. We'll give you a recap by the numbers and let you know why, at least for 3 reasons, it is performing as well as it is as we creep up on $8,000, the key resistance point. We'll also remind you here on News BTC that $100 billion in Bitcoin has not moved in over 1 year, which is a bullish sign. You're probably wondering if any of this has to do with Iran. The short answer is yes. On CoinDesk, Bitcoin as a safe haven. U.S.-Iran tensions rekindle debate. Let's take a look at the market to kick things off on CoinMarketCap.com. Total market cap is up yet again for the third or fourth day in a row, $210 billion right now. As you can see, the price of Bitcoin currently sits at $7,901. That is up 4.34% on the day, with many projects up a handful of percentage points, but Bitcoin really leading the charge as it creeps up on that magical point, the resistance point of $8,000. That is the barrier right now that we have to break through. Dominance, as of this recording, 68.1%. So yes, as you may have surmised, geopolitics does play into the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, but it's not quite a one-to-one correlation. It's a more nuanced issue, and there are other factors at play. Here on Bitcoinist.com, we're looking at 3 reasons why Bitcoin just cranked back to $8,000. It's been a slow and steady price rise these last few days. Bitcoin and crypto markets have been on a roll over the past 24 hours, really more like over the past 72 hours, I'd say. It has been the largest move of the year of 2020. Let's pat ourselves on the back so far, adding $12 billion to total market cap as Bitcoin price touches $8,000 again. But what exactly has caused it? We will be coming out with a more detailed price analysis shortly, but as you may have noticed, we've been trading in that 7,500 range for quite a while now. It seems like it's been a while at least, but we've topped out at a 47-day high of just below $8,000. In fact, I believe on TradingView.com, Bitcoin did touch that $8,000 resistance mark. And it should come as no surprise that this price reaction is at least partially in response to what is happening with tensions internationally. So reason number 1 why we're seeing a nearly $8,000 Bitcoin all of a sudden is because fresh capital is flowing into stocks and safe havens. And those safe havens include, I guess, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, at least to some. The bullish momentum, specifically relating to Bitcoin, appears to have been driven by a wider global flow of finance into stock markets and commodities such as gold and oil. Gold prices have hit a 6-year high today, according to the charts. Ever since the U.S. airstrike on Iranian targets, tensions have escalated and investors have turned to safe assets, which now include Bitcoin. No surprise there. We'll explore tensions with Iran a little bit further at the tail end of this video, but let's first move on to point number 2 here on Bitcoinist.com. BTC traders not Tether. Recent research by Into the Block indicated that the same few Bitcoin are changing hands at this level, which is why there have been no breaks above 8K. At the moment, the markets are defying these findings as BTC bulls push that resistance zone harder. So in other words, after several weeks of this consolidation period, it seems that traders are just kind of bored with this 7K range, and the bulls therefore pushed the king of crypto, i.e. Bitcoin, higher. And finally, reason number 3, BitMEX liquidations. Bitcoin price usually pumps when there has been a substantial liquidation of shorts on BitMEX. And looking at the data, well, they reveal that almost $8 million has been liquidated over the past 6 hours, which has added to the momentum. And there could very well be reasons beyond just these 3. As I've pointed out many times over these last couple of years in our videos, problems are multivariate in nature, but people don't like to address them that way. People like to attribute cause and effects to singular variables, but that's really not how it works in the real world. As far as what's next for Bitcoin, pretty much universally now, it's accepted that $8,000 is the current resistance, but then you have individuals like Tone Vays that are saying beyond that ceiling, the next resistance is at about $8,300. It's very possible. He believes there's still a 60% chance of Bitcoin dropping back to below $7,000. The weekly chart is still not that impressive though, and candles need to start closing above $8,500 for a real rally to be measured. One thing that that is encouraging, in my opinion, about this most recent rally, these last few days at least, is that we're actually seeing some pretty decent volume as well. If you take a look at the Bitcoin volume in particular, it's been a while since we've seen those kinds of numbers. So above and beyond the rising price, which is nice to see, admittedly, volume is an encouraging statistic to follow. And in this case, I am quite pleased with what I'm seeing. Here's a quick piece now on newsbtc.com. $100 billion in Bitcoin hasn't moved in over a year, and it's bullish. The cumulative sum of dormant Bitcoin addresses surpassed 12.58 million Bitcoin, worth just about $100 billion at the current price. And this indicates most investors are holding strong despite volatility in the market. Either that or they've lost their private keys and their hard drives. But one way or another, it also indicates that between the recent price fall from about $13,900 to $6,410, many investors kept on holding to their Bitcoin. The long term is anybody's bet when it comes to Bitcoin. John McAfee infamously recently reneged on his $1 million bet with the internet, but that's not to say that other people aren't still optimistic about it. In his famous essay entitled, quote, "The Case for a Small Allocation to Bitcoin," Xapo CEO Wences Cesares said back in March of last year, 2019, that he believes Bitcoin could be worth as much as $1 million, although he's extending the time horizon. He's saying at some point in the next decade. Quote, "My preferred way of guessing how the price of Bitcoin may evolve is much more prosaic. I have noticed over time that the price of Bitcoin fluctuates around about $7,000 times how many people own Bitcoins. So if that constraint maintains, and if 3 billion people ever own Bitcoin, it could be worth about $21 trillion total market cap. That's 7,000 times 3 billion, or $1 million per Bitcoin. I'm not sure under the best of circumstances 3 billion people will ever own Bitcoin. That's a big chunk of the world population, but you never know. Let us know your thoughts about what Mr. Cesares had to say in the comments below. Let us know whether you agree or disagree. Getting back to the Iran issue, which I really think is at least about 50% of the reason that we're seeing this fluctuation here on Coindesk.com. Bitcoin as a safe haven. U.S.-Iran tensions rekindle debate. Greg Cipollaro is the co-founder of Digital Asset Research and analyzes crypto markets. He said, quote, "Acts of violence and war can create inflation and have demonstrated that in the past. Therefore, heightened violence now could portend higher demand for Bitcoin," he said, adding a major caveat, quote, "to the extent that Bitcoin is a hedge against inflation," which, let's be honest, many people believe that it is. It's exactly the same reason that we've just seen a multi-year high in the price of gold, as we covered earlier in this video. One theory among Bitcoin investors is that while the cryptocurrency lacks gold's luster or long track record as a store of value, it shares the key property of being difficult to mine. The supply of new Bitcoin is strictly regulated by its 11-year-old original programming code. In the case of Iran, there's speculation locals might try to shift money into Bitcoin to shield their wealth from inflation. That might occur as the country becomes more economically isolated from global finance. And nobody is rooting for increased tensions with Iran. Nobody is rooting for a conflict just to prop up the crypto market. That's certainly not something that I would hope or pray for. But this, whether you look at it as a positive or a negative, is the consequence of instability in the world, unfortunately. Even Iran's leaders are contemplating using cryptocurrency as a way to offset pressure from sanctions. In late December, President Hassan Rouhani said in a speech in Malaysia that Muslims need their own cryptocurrency to, quote, "save themselves from the domination of the US dollar and the American financial regime." And then you have Mike Novogratz, the CEO of Galaxy Digital and one of the most closely watched investors in the crypto space. He tweeted the following on Sunday, quote, "The more I analyze this Iranian situation, the more bullish the case becomes for gold and Bitcoin." I'll leave it to you all members of the Altcoin Buzz Army to formulate your own opinions, but if I had a choice between harmony when it comes to international tensions between the US and Iran on the one hand, and high Bitcoin and cryptocurrency prices on the other, I would sooner take peace internationally than an increased blockfolio dollar figure. Nobody is rooting for conflict. Nobody is rooting for war. In fact, I hope we can do everything in our power collectively to avoid it, but we're covering the news as it hits us. And digital assets, commodities, whether physical or otherwise, are going to be affected by these kinds of international tensions and geopolitics, of course. As always, I am very interested to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. So please don't be shy. But I think that about wraps it up for the news today, everybody. Do be sure you're following us on all the regular social media channels. Keep checking back into our website, altcoinbuzz.io, for all the latest. Go ahead, like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell, of course, to receive notifications. Best of luck if you choose to invest. Also, give yourself a chance to win a CryptoTag Zeus starter kit this Saturday by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and commenting. As always, everybody, stay safe. We hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.